Have you ever just been walking around in a grocery store, not really knowing what you're looking for? You want something for dinner, you want some ideas, you're just looking around, maybe some snacks, maybe something for breakfast. And then you see it, something with big yellow letters, and it says, protein, na na na. Well, I did that recently, and that got me thinking, are we actually getting protein washed? My name is Irgat, and that's what I want to talk about today. Remember that it's optional if you want to leave a like or a dislike, and it just helps me to see what is worth doing and what is not worth doing. It is free, but it's 100% optional, just like subscribing is optional. You can always unsubscribe, it doesn't cost a thing, and if you come back in a year, if I'm still doing and you feel like, not what I like anymore, feel free to unsubscribe. I won't hold that against anyone. But let's get back to the subject, protein washing. And no, it's not about putting it in the dishwasher nor the laundry machine. It has nothing to do with washing your protein, but like you say, mind controlled, more or less. The product that I was talking about earlier is a hard bread that I won't say the name of, because the point of this is not to talk about what brands, because I have simply enough not done enough research on the brands to say that this is Giga Good or Giga Chad, this is Terrible. That is not the point. The point is to open eyes and to start a conversation. But first, I think we should start with let's breaking down what a protein actually is. A protein is a large biomolecule made up of chains of amino acids. They are essential for various functions in living organs. Proteins are necessary for growth, repair, and overall functions in organs. And they can be obtained from various food sources. And the different sources can be from animal-based sources. This includes meat, dairy, eggs, which typically provides complete proteins containing all the essential amino acids. Then we have the plant-based sources. This includes grains, nuts, and seeds, which may lack in certain amino acids, but combining different sources of plant-based proteins will give you what you need. Is one diet better than another? Well, that mostly depends on you. Like if you're lactose intolerant, maybe you shouldn't drink a lot of milk, maybe you shouldn't eat yogurt. There is lactose-free stuff, absolutely. But it all comes down to your allergies, it comes down to your religion. I am not here to judge anyone's diet choice. If you have chosen that diet, I am thinking that you have your own reasons for it. And as long as you're getting everything you need at the end of the day, that's fine. Who really cares? You might care a little more if you're going into bodybuilding. But if you're just an average Joe, then having a flexible diet is my choice. I like to mix it up with animal products and with plant-based products, and going for like a few vegetarian meals a day or per week, and then the rest is basically what I feel like. I feel like I'm having I like the mixed one. But with that said, let's get back to the point. So the bread I was talking about had the macros per 100 grams was 400 calories, 20 grams of protein, carbs 53, and sugar 27, which is in, if you look at it on a 100 gram perspective, it's not terrible, but it's also not the best. Because if we chose like a typical breakfast, you would typically have like 2 slices of this, which would be 12 grams per slice. And that would take you down to a protein intake of 2.8 grams of protein per slice of bread. And then we can talk about if that is a valid protein source. Like I said, per 100 grams, it's not terrible, but it's also not the best. You can compare it to having some tofu, maybe some egg whites, regular eggs that would have more vitamins and more protein. And then we can go into the next subject. Processing. Not all protein sources are going to be the same. Like for example, if you take a sausage compared to just a regular piece of like pork cut, the normal pork chop, for example, is going to have more protein and more things that your body actually can digest easier because it's not as processed. The processing in food, like in pasta, and if you're, to be fair, if you're counting pasta as your daily protein intake, I think that maybe you should reconsider counting it. That's just my opinion, but that's what I think. But if the more processed a product is, the harder it is for the body to actually use the entire macros from that product. Like for example, this bread can have 2.8 grams of protein. Absolutely. But it's not 100% that your body is going to get 2.8 grams of protein that you can actually use for your body. Protein is not a trademarked word, it is not a copyrighted word. Some products are absolutely copyrighted, but you can also find something that says 25% protein. 25%, how much is that then? Is it just gonna be 10%? And then it's like you have all of these different brands. Some are better, some are worse. And like I said, I'm not gonna say what I think is better and what I think is worse, because we might not live in the same country and not have the same products. And with that, if a product says protein on it, it might say just a percentage of protein. That usually indicates that it's not really that much. So if you're taking the time and you're actually gonna get the stuff, maybe not only look at the price tag and actually check the back to see what the macros are per bar or per shake or whatever on the protein powder of your choosing. So what I'm more or less is saying is, don't fall for the macros or for the protein washing and look at the macros to see what you actually get. Protein seems to be the hot word, and you might instantly associate protein with fitness and healthy products. Not always the case. I mean, peanuts have a lot of protein. It also has a lot of calories because it's a calorie-dense food, which is also... It all depends on what you're looking for. If you're trying to get more into a healthier diet, if you're trying to get yourself into a more macro-friendly diet, or lose weight, gain weight, that is also something that you can adjust to. Having calorie-dense food compared to like a cucumber. It will fill you up, but it won't cost you that much in the end of the day. But protein powder or bars or whatever that we have been talking about can be a great supplement, and that is the key word, supplement. You shouldn't trade this for, so if I just take this, then I'm gonna take 2 or 3 shakes a day, and that's gonna be my entire meal plan for Wednesday. Absolutely not. It is a supplement, and trying to, like, if you're on the go, if you have been like the average Joe that I was talking about earlier, you've been working from 6 until maybe 3 or 4, you head straight to the gym, and then you want something after because lunch or your snack was a few hours ago, a lot of hours ago. So just having a protein shake easily accessed in your training, in your gym bag, and then be able to just chug that up so you can survive until dinner. Absolutely. Same with protein bars. But then it also comes down to what brands. There has been recently a lot of talk, like at least in the US, that there have been found a lot of lead in the protein powders. But the biggest problem today is protein spiking. And protein spiking is now a new word to this conversation, because you can actually trick the system into showing that it's going to be this amount of protein, but it's actually not. And so let's get into what is protein spiking a little more. Protein spiking is the process of adding cheaper amino acids or another nitrogen source to protein supplements to artificially inflate the protein content on the label. This often misleads customers into believing they are getting more high quality protein than they actually are. So so more or less, you can add some amino acids that are cheaper than, let's say, the milk protein in protein powder. Then you can add that to make the test results show you more protein than what you actually have. So more or less, they can add lower quality amino acids to the protein powder to get a more appealing product to the consumers. So the reasons why they would do that most of is the moolah, the money. It's cheaper, and if you're buying it, it's more money to their pocket. Less product for more money. Hell yeah. And there's also a market appeal in it. If you can get a lot, let's overkill the statements here. If you could get a protein powder that would be 40 grams of protein per shake, how good doesn't that sound if you're using it as a supplement? It sounds great in my ears. More protein, more gains. If that is what you're after. It also leads to a lot of misleading information. Because a lot of customers, like me, I don't know what protein powders in my country that are spiked or aren't spiked. I know what bars can be good and some can be worse. But that's usually a good go-tell sign is usually the price. If you find a medium range to a medium price to a higher price protein powder or supplement, it's usually going to be pretty a-okay. If you found something that is 33 shakes for 10 euros, come on. So what can you do as a consumer? There has been a lot of studies and there has been a lot of work done on what protein has these amino acids or that it actually has the right amount of protein that they are claiming to have. And that is a Google search or ask a AI tool. It's here to help. It's here to be used as a tool, and absolutely just use them. Just check on your phone before you're getting it, and then you're golden. But the conclusion is, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Thank you for listening to my IRG talk. That has been my thoughts and what I think about the subject on protein washing. Ooh. Well, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.